What does his text mean?
So frustrating.
Maybe he's just not that into me.
No, she really likes
I've
me.
always been bad
How
at
can I get her
flirting.
attention?
I'm ready for
I just
marriage.
want somebody to share my life with.
Is this relationship
going
anywhere?
anywhere? Modern Love Made Simple. This is Dates and Mates with Damona Hoffman.
Welcome, everybody, to Season 6 of Dates and Mates. I hope you enjoyed my brand new theme music. I worked so hard on that over the break for you. I really wanted it to capture what you are dealing with in dating and relationships today, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get advice on how to find and keep love in today's world. I'm Damona Hoffman, and we are broadcasting live from Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood. We're live streaming on Facebook, and we have some new exciting elements coming to the show. We have handpicked some of your favorite guests from past episodes to be a part of a rotating cast of co-hosts for me. And today I have someone very special. She was actually my dad's favorite guest of last season. Wow. She is international matchmaker Jessica Fass, and she is here to spread some tips on how to find love. It's summertime, girl. We want to find summer love, and we want to meet people not just online, but offline. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. That's so flattering. Your dad's favorite.
Should we give her some smooches,
Yeah, let's
Producer
give her some
Thomas?
There we go.
And also, as if this was like an episode of This Is Your Life, we have favorites from the past, too, including Producer Jay in the house today.
What?
Producer Jay is back.
Oh, yay.
Give him some smooches, too.
Why, thank you,
Smooches.
Producer Thomas.
So, I mean, this is just like a very special thing for the Season 6 launch of Dates and Mates, but we are so glad that you're here to share your wisdom.
I'm excited to be here. It's been over a year.
Don't even.
I
Don't
know.
even.
But Season 6, wow.
I know.
Wow.
I know. I love doing the show, and
That's
I really
awesome.
love helping people find love today. And I feel like it's getting more complicated.
It is.
So I just sent an email to the folks on my mailing list. If you're not on my mailing list, by the way, go to datesandmates.com and sign up. But I just sent an email about getting offline. People always think that because I met my husband online and because I have coached for so long about online dating, that's the only thing I think people should be doing. Obviously not. I have a matchmaker in studio with me today. And so I want to share some tips today about how you can meet people offline, IRL, and also some summer date ideas for the people that maybe are already in a relationship. What can you do? Summertime is coming to a close, and so don't squander this opportunity to have some, summer love in the fun. We also have some questions from our listeners that come to us from the Textbird app, like what to do if you catch feelings for your friend with benefits, and how do you pass the time when you and your boyfriend are on a 2-month break and you can't stop thinking about him. But first, we're going to hit the headlines. Like, what can you tell about your date from their texting habits? And in the Me Too era, is it time for The Bachelor to go bye-bye? Plus, we'll be talking about Facebook's new dating app, which is rolling out. Is it going to work? We'll let you know. And now, Producer Thomas, let's hit the headlines.
Dee's Dating Dish.
Producer Jay, Producer Thomas, and Jessica Fass. Is your date not texting you a red flag? Our friends over at Elite Daily had a new article that hit the presses this week, and it gave a very clear guidepost as to when you should be hearing from your date. So, usually I'm talking to people about online dating, and I find the speed there has just ramped up. And basically, if you don't hear from someone within the first day, it's probably not going to happen. This article said, on average, millennials reach out to their dates within 2 days after a first date. And it said 89% of single women want to be contacted within 48 hours after a date. Jessica, I know as a matchmaker, you talk to your clients after dates. What are you seeing in terms of the timeline, and has it changed in the time that you've been doing this work? Is it getting faster?
Yes, because we have the texting machine at our fingertips, people want 24 hours. I'm even surprised it said 48.
Yeah, I
they
was
start
too.
to think someone died if they don't hear in 24 hours. I mean, they really feel like if you're interested, there's no excuse not to just say hello the next day. And it's kind of true. If you're really into someone, why would it take you 2 days to remember about them? So because we have this texting machine at our fingertips, it's really instantaneous that you want an answer. And if it was the old days of the phone call, you would be more okay with the 3 days, because you'd call someone, maybe you'd miss it, you'd get the machine, you'd have to call back. It was like more acceptable.
Half of our listeners don't even know what machine you're referring to.
Yeah, exactly.
It was called an answering machine.
There was actual tape in it. It
I
wasn't
was going to
digital.
say,
Yeah,
there was a tape.
So even I tell my clients, I will get back to you within 48 hours with the answer. The only reason they're a little bit more calm is because of my schedule, so they know I have to coordinate with the person. So sometimes I can get up to 3 days of leeway if I'm very busy. But really, when I know my client's going on a date, I make myself available within 24 hours. I put it on my schedule. Okay, so-and-so went on this date. I need to make an hour of time to reach him and his match the very next day.
But let's be real. I mean, if you're into someone, they're going to be knocking down your door trying to get that person's contact information and get the next
they
date.
start texting me did you hear from them yet, and pressuring me to, if they really liked them, and if they were kind of they're okay waiting that 48 hours for me to get the response. Yeah.
But what do you think, Producer Jay? Is everybody kind of today? I feel like I'm talking to daters and everybody's like, well, I went on a date and he's fine, I don't know. And I feel like on the first date, you don't need to know that you want to marry him. You don't need to have major fireworks going off. Just do you want to see him again?
I don't know. I think there's there's a little bit of a balance to kind of speak to wanting to have a response within 24 hours. Society's just much faster at this point. When you've got swipeability at your fingertips, it's you need to lock it in, or you've already moved on to somebody else, or you think that they've moved on to somebody else. So you really want to know, is this worth, spending any more of my time or investing any more of my thoughts or emotion into this, whatever. So you want to get a response. And I think people are kind of in that same space because they don't want to overcommit so early. So they're kind of managing their own emotion into it of being I just went on a date. So meh. So until I hear back to know that I can feel safe to be more than
This is why I'm so successful in coaching guys to be a little bit more assertive and just show up more. Go ahead and ask the girl out on a date. Just send that next text. Just suggest a second date on the first date, because there's so many guys, I feel like, and girls that are just waiting to see if the other person makes a move.
Right.
That when you are proactive, it really changes the pace and the dynamic of the connection.
Completely.
Yeah.
And it might even get someone who's to be like, oh.
Exactly.
Right,
We wanna
because
change
you
the
actually care.
to O.
Right. Change the to O.
I like that slogan.
Well, I'm trying to think of a transition that would be like the and to O. In the and to O era, okay, sidebar. I'm really a fan of dating shows, as you guys probably have guessed, having been on a couple of them. I was a little bit hurt by an article in USA Today this week that said, in the Me Too era, they suggest that we retire dating shows for good. And I shed a tear, but it's because of The Bachelor and Bachelorette, which are definitely different shows than the two series I did, #BlackLove, which was about helping single Black women be successful in love, and then Question of Love, which was taking people in relationships. So it's a little bit different. But still, I can be a little bit upset because The Bachelor does have a different focus. It's taking all these people that are not really connected at all, and some of them recently have had sexual assault allegations that came out after the fact. And having worked in television casting before, I know they do very thoroughly vet contestants. So I'm not sure how that happened. I think it happened twice, actually. I'm not sure how that keeps happening. Maybe somebody's asleep at the ABC legal department wheel. But generally, you know when you go into a dating show, generally those people have been vetted more so than you would vet them if you were meeting them in a bar. But does that mean that you should be vying for their hand in marriage? So have we taken it too far? Does it feel outdated? And even the proposal, which producer Thomas and I talked about a couple episodes ago, which gives people all of 60
40
minutes.
minutes, to
well,
find a
43
mate.
with commercials to decide if there's a potential for marriage by the end of the episode. Maybe we're moving too fast in television too. Maybe there's my transition.
There you go.
There you go.
Do you watch The Bachelor?
I never watch it except the season of Trista and Ryan, The Bachelorette, and
The
that one made
romantic
it.
one.
So I like to think that I watched the right one because they made it. And I watched Millionaire Matchmaker. I watch more like where there's help, kind of like what you did.
Yeah, the
And
transformation.
Yeah,
and
transformational stuff and not this stuff. I watched Unreal, which is the making fun of The Bachelor, and I think a lot of that, unfortunately,
pseudo-documentary.
Right.
Yeah, almost too close.
which I think is I think it's over the top, but I think there's truth in that about what happens on these reality dating shows with the manipulation of the producers and wanting to get ratings, and so that's kind of why I've been turned off by it for a while. But I know you love it. So many people love it. I kind of agreed with the article a bit, but it's good. I disagree. Can shake it up a bit with the opinions. I kind of thought, wow, I'm not surprised about the sexual assault. I bet more of those guys have probably committed it, and maybe lesser levels that didn't get reported. And and how can you know? And you're manipulated by the surroundings to fall in love. It's not real. It's fabricated for TV, and that's why most of them don't last. And so it's just sad. We're investing our time and emotions to follow the season, and then they break up too.
But why are people so addicted to these shows? I mean, there really is. Even just there's a show in the UK called Love Island, which is the Dirty Bachelor.
Do they live on an island together in that?
Yeah, and they're wearing bikinis the whole time, and then they have to couple up, and it's a competition. And they just announced this week that is going to CBS, and so that's going to be coming to the States. So it doesn't seem like the Bachelor-esque dating show is dying. I think it's if anything, it's more popular. Yeah. Why is that, Producer Jay? Are people living this fantasy?
Well, I think everybody's voyeuristic, and
yes.
to a certain extent.
You work in the biz.
I know, but it's just I think that people are pretty voyeuristic. Even when I watch reality TV, because I do watch reality TV, but I think of it as case studies. I'm always
yes.
Oh, I'm really fascinated by human interaction, even when it's under false circumstances. The reactions are still real. There's a certain amount of that is that's really, really entertaining, and you do get to learn a lot about what lengths people will go to. I took a little bit of issue with the article, mostly because I felt like it was a little bit of a stretch to use the hashtag #MeToo portion of it with saying so dating shows. It's the hashtag #MeToo is far beyond the whole dating show thing, and it has an effect on things that had nothing to do with relationships. All types of shows where that's still an issue. So I didn't.
You felt like they were kind of jumping on.
I felt like they were reaching. A little bit for that. It's okay, if you don't like dating shows, don't like dating shows. That's fine. That can stand alone. But
I think it was saying, is it driving men to act in more aggressive ways because of what they see on
No,
these shows?
I think that's a stretch. I really do. I think this is something far more fundamental. Of men being aggressive and not knowing their own boundaries. I think this might play into a little bit of the narrative of there's a woman can be one kind of thing, but I don't necessarily I kind of see them as two distinct issues. Yes, there's still an issue with the dating show portion of that, because I don't like that whole concept of I can all these women are throwing themselves at me, and it's it's something that can be won, a trophy that.
I could just pick.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Here's a rose. Here's a rose.
In and of itself, yeah. But I'm a little bit cautious to try to appropriate the Me Too movement as the pillar for my feeling of that.
I get your point. And so many people are living vicariously through these characters and on people, but really characters that are on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. But at the same time, on social media, we're also sort of living a fantasy life. And there's an interesting thing coming. We reported on this a few months ago when Facebook announced that they would be getting into the dating app game. And there's a sneaky reporter who's always busting out Facebook for their new features who managed to get in there and find out that they're actually doing some internal testing of the dating app. The weird part is that they're only allowing Facebook employees on it, which is sort of strange to think that like people are having like play conversations
because they have to use fake profiles
with fake profiles and testing it. And I just started thinking like, oh yeah, hashtag me too. Like I started thinking of this whole like scenario in Facebook land where it's like, are you Sally from Chicago? Yeah, Sally from accounting. I don't know. I find that part really weird. I'm like, you couldn't find like a test group, but I guess they're just really scared that the info is going to leak out. But I really wanted to get your take, Jessica. You've been matchmaking for many, many years for international clients. And one thing I love about dating apps and social media is that it does expand the opportunity for people to meet across town, across the world. But do you think that this is a space that Facebook should be in, or is it sort of blurring the lines?
It's very interesting. I read the article. It seems like the dating profile is going to be pretty separate from the personal profile. So that's good. Not exactly sure how that's going to work yet, but something like your real friends can't really see what you're doing. So that's kind of good for privacy. I think it's a good thing. I'm really interested how it's going to affect the dating apps and paid dating sites. And
well, we know that the match shares plummeted the day that I think that might have just been a reaction. But I feel like people right now are just, it's a tricky time for Facebook, and people are at a period where they're not really trusting giving any data to Facebook.
That's true.
And the whole point of the integration of Facebook into dating apps, like so many of them that you sign up with, is so you don't have to create a separate profile. It's like, this is just who I am. Let me just pick the photos and here, love me or don't love me, but this is who I am.
I just don't get why they got into this space when they were letting their app be integrated with the dating apps. You're right. So I thought the events thing was cool, how like you're going to be able to see who's at an event with you. So maybe that's going to be how they're different, and people will use it for that. But yeah, they're already kind of committed to their Tinder, their Bumble. I wonder how easy it is to, and I wonder if Facebook's going to take away its integration to some apps because they have their own thing.
Well, some of them have canceled it anyway.
Right.
Which ones? You know,
Bumble
you can't integrate.
I mean, you
anyone?
can, but it was required before, and now you can integrate with other social media sites, and you don't have to, because it was required on a lot of. It was required on Hinge.
It was still required.
Yeah. So now everybody's sort of putting their stake in the ground as to where they're gonna.
I just hope it doesn't make everybody say, "Oh, there's way too many," and so like I'm done. I can't even decide which one to be on. I hope it doesn't overwhelm
I don't know if we have that.
So
I
many
don't know
people
if that's
tell me
gonna have
I'm done with dating apps and I deleted all of them. I'm like, why is that good? Like they're excited. They're like,
well, it
proud
goes in
that
waves.
they-
It goes
yeah.
in waves.
Yeah.
And we're going to go in a wave to a break, but we have summer dating tips coming up for you. We have your questions in Technically Dating, and we have a hot Hollywood hookup that will be coming up in just a moment. And by the way, if you like this episode, subscribe, and you'll get the episodes the minute that they post on Apple Podcast and Google Podcast. And the more people who subscribe, the more people who can find dates and mates and get love advice. And we all need that right now. So please spread the love, subscribe to the show, and tell a friend. Hey, I have a secret for you. Everyone gets bored in the bedroom from time to time. And whether you're single or in a relationship, there's a way to spice things up at adamandeve.com. They have one of the largest catalogs of adult products around, from lingerie to things that go buzz. Adam and Eve has just what you need to revitalize your love life. And my friends at Adam and Eve have just the thing for you, a secret bonus. I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you you're going to love it. And your partner will too, if you have one. Best of all, you can order online at adamandeve.com, and they will ship your items to you in discreet packaging, so the neighbors will be none the wiser. And if you use my promo code, shipping will be free. So go to adamandeve.com and enter the promo code GIFT21. You can get something for him, something for her, something for you both. And you will get a total of 10 free gifts if you use my code plus free shipping. So don't be shy. Live out your fantasy at adamandeve.com using the offer code GIFT21 at checkout. Welcome back to Dates and Mates. Producer Jay, blast from the past. He's in the house along with my special co-host today, Jessica Fass of Fast Pass to Love, FASSPASS to Love, internationally renowned matchmaker. And I just want to mention, since we talked about this a little bit before, but since you have been matchmaking you matchmake for Jewish people, but not just in the States, internationally. Mm-hmm. So you're matching people like across the miles.
Across ponds, yep.
Across the pond. And also, you guys, she was the best new dating personality at the 2016 U.S. Dating Awards. And so I really need to get your advice on today's topic of summer dating. And as a dating coach, as a matchmaker, you're coaching people on what dates to do, I imagine. Like, what's a good first summer date?
Yeah.
It's different than winter date.
Yeah, it's really nice to be outside. I hear people complaining that it's too hot, but I'm kind of like, get a hat because it's so beautiful out.
It's too hot. It's too cold.
Do it later in the
too
day.
Windy. It's raining.
Exactly.
It's snowing.
Exactly.
Just get outside, people.
Get outside. It's so gorgeous, like pretty much all over the country. And for my clients in Israel, it is very hot there too, but it's gorgeous. Go later when the sun is setting if you want, like go for a walk at the beach. 5 o'clock. There's something so bonding about doing a physical activity. You can rent a boat in this weather. I had suggested that. You can walk at a pier in Southern California. There's like Newport Beach, Huntington Beach. So many places have like an actual pier. So you can take a long walk down a shore. No.
Or just go to the lake. Just go to the lake. I'm from
by a lake,
Michigan.
yeah.
We have a lot of lakes there. Just
be outside. There's outdoor movie screenings. I saw Selena's coming up this weekend. That's a great one. Yeah, go to the
I saw Grease and I was like, I'm going to drag my entire family to Grease. And
my
husband,
your kids?
No. My husband put the kibosh on that. He was like, no, we're not doing that. And then I was like, Back to the Future too. And then I forced my daughter to watch Back to the Future. So I was like, you can't see Back to the Future 2 unless you've seen Back to the Future 1.
Precisely.
I cried.
It's my favorite movie. It's my favorite because what nostalgia? Just thinking about the 80s.
Just the whole thing. And, it's a little bit #me too in some moments. I was like, ooh, that was not necessary. I'm like, Biff is going to jail.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is. Oh yeah, he is.
But okay, I digress.
Yeah.
Yes.
So watching Back to the Future outside as an outdoor movie is.
But don't cry. That is not becoming on a date.
Yes, if you can help it. Although it can be kind of, it can find it endearing or sweet if like you shed like one tear at something.
They're like, why
not
are you
sobbing,
crying?
not sobbing. But something from
the future.
But something from the 80s, like you bring up a good point, nostalgia
or
type
90s
dates.
for some of our people,
or 90s, something nostalgia, or even early 2000s is nostalgia these days. So something that you guys can bond over if you're about the same age range that you like both grew up with, can be very bonding.
Yes, I am a big fan of the nostalgia dates. I call them, like doing something that makes you feel like a kid again. Like you said, going to the pier,
arcade,
but go to the There's an arcade on our pier, and ride the Ferris wheel, something cute like that.
Completely.
And another friend of mine who's a dating coach was he posted on Facebook that he has a client that doesn't drink, and he's like, I don't know where to send him. And I got a little sad because I thought there's so many places that you could go and not drink.
Completely.
Right. I don't
Producer
drink.
Jay?
Don't be acting like we don't have stuff to do too.
Exactly.
So what are your favorite summer
Well, I'm the
dates?
worst person to ask about that because I basically stay in all the time.
It's too hot.
So yeah, it's
what
too
do
hot.
you dream about doing? It's too hot.
I mean,
it's all the hair.
It really no. I just eat. Like I go places where there's food.
Oh, what about you go to like food fairs or like LA County
Stuff like that would be fun.
with
yeah,
the
taking
fried
all of my
everything.
ideas.
Yeah,
I know. I enjoy those things, but I like the activity, kind of dates, like going on a walk, getting
mini golf,
stuff like just
bowling.
Getting like random things that you wouldn't normally do, like let's go get like cotton candy,
Ice
which is
cream.
like like stuff that's like kind of nostalgic or things like that you don't have to drink to do anything.
Exactly.
No,
really.
and I think it's a great idea to also have an activity that you're doing together, because then all of the pressure is not on
the conversation.
It feels like an
Exactly.
interview.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing something that has motion. I sent an email to my mailing list. If you guys are not on my list, you guys are missing out. So you can sign up at datesandmates.com. But I had a lot of the ideas that you mentioned, and also like sporting events, going to a baseball
Good
game.
one.
Baseball is a rather slow game for me. I know. I
Me
don't know
too.
about anybody else. But I find that people are socializing through the game in the ways that,
Well,
like,
you
don't
could-
try and talk to my husband during a soccer game.
But see, this is what I
Forget
was
it.
about to say. I'm like, make sure that the person is not like that you're with is not like an avid sports fan that's really
But in baseball,
involved.
like, everyone is pretty
It's
much
slow for
it's so
everyone.
slow.
Mhm.
They're just
Fair
chilling
enough.
because it's like you have, what is it, 9 innings?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just
Oh.
stretched out.
I had one more great idea. Like on Gold Star, there's very cheap events. So there's like, even tonight I'm going with a friend, but there's theater. There's like Clueless, the musical parody. There's all these really
I wanna
fun
go
to that.
indie productions that you get. It's like $10, $15 tickets. It's amazing. And
Comedy
then if
shows
it's bad,
are
yeah,
great,
and
too.
stand up. And then
Mhm.
if it's bad, you also can laugh about it and bond over, that it was bad.
fact that
If
it
it
was
wasn't
terrible.
And everybody likes a deal. I know.
Mhm.
And you don't want your date to necessarily know that you got it on a deal. So go ahead and buy it on Gold Star
Yeah.
in advance and then just slip the
Right.
ticket and they'll be none the wiser.
Exactly.
Be like, honey, I got you. I got
Mhm.
you. Well, I wanted to know, because I do see, we were talking about waves a minute ago, and I noted that in the dating coaching business, it really has cycles. Like people in the fall, in the winter, really want to pair
Couple
up.
Mhm.
And in the summer, they want to have some fun in the sun. What do you see as a matchmaker? People are coming to you directly for connections.
Okay, it's very interesting. I kind of see it the same kind of throughout the year when it's holidays. So in Judaism, we have Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. That makes you think about, I need to find someone. Then we have all the American holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And yeah, a lot of people come around the Thanksgiving, Christmas and talk with me and then say, okay, I want to sign up in January. That it's kind of like the New Year's resolution to get started with the
The
new
Jews
you.
are coming to you at Christmas.
Yeah,
They're
even
like,
well, end
they're
of
like,
the year. Yeah,
nothing's open. I gotta
Hanukkah.
find a date.
it's Hanukkah. Anything. It's still like our bonding time. Any time that it's going to be bonding with family,
Family.
Passover, they're going to be like. So that's why. And there's Jewish holidays all throughout the
And
year.
yeah.
Which is why I say for me it's all throughout the year. But summer, the young people, there's tons of events. So yeah, they'd rather go to events sometimes. But the women, honestly, 30 and above, they're coming constantly applying. It doesn't matter. Sometimes they had a bad experience at a summer event where the guys seemed too playery, and then they're like, ugh, okay, I never want to go to another event. Now I'm going to put myself in the matchmaker's database. So yeah, I kind of see it the same, like all year round, just for me. In terms of
Yeah.
being interested in matchmaking,
And when you have that Jewish mother that's going,
who's always
who
on
are you
24
bringing
hours
home
a day.
next year?
And it's not fair. We have too many Jewish holidays that revolve around family. So like Passover's in April and Hanukkah's in December and Rosh Hashanah's in September. Sukkot, there's always one coming up. So that's why I say it doesn't end in the Jewish culture. There's always a family holiday around the corner.
Yeah, I'm sure that's relatable. Yes, there are a lot of Jewish holidays. I discovered when I
Yeah.
sent my daughter to Jewish
Exactly.
preschool.
You don't even know how many
and
there
I
are.
was like,
until-
yeah, I'm like, y'all are closed all the time.
Right.
We don't need a holiday for everything. You have a holiday for the trees. You have a holiday for like
the miracle of the
the
light.
miracle. We have so many miracles to celebrate. But I'm sure that that's relatable to people also of
And other
different,
religions and
different
cultures.
backgrounds. Like I know your mama's on your case.
She really isn't. She learned.
She's
She
not?
learned her lesson. No.
One time you
At
schooled
some
her
point,
and she
she was
done.
on
Yeah,
Okay.
at some point she was, and then at one point I was just kind of like, "Nah, we're not gonna have this conversation again." And she was like, "But," I said, "No. You will be the last person I'll be engaging in this discussion with, lady." So
Does she gear up more though around like Christmas time or Thanksgiving?
no, sometimes she just waxes nostalgic of being
Mm.
like, or like, "Oh, I remember when your sisters had this, and then when the babies came and."
Oh, but she has some grandkids already, so she can't
yeah,
be.
she's fine.
Oh, but they always want more. They
she's
always want more.
fine. She's fine.
Well, luckily you have me, producer Jay, to get on your case. And there's an article, not that this is for summer dates necessarily, but there's an article in Elite Daily that I thought was really cute. It was 10 questions to ask on a dating app. And I thought that these were actually fun questions for us to get to know you guys better, and you'll be seeing Jessica again as a co-host. So I gotta let the people know who you are and what's really going on. So
They were cute questions. Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. The question is, what 3 celebrities would you put on your list?
Mm-hmm. The list that I'm allowed to cheat.
The
with.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cheat list.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's
John Krasinski, Adam
Oh.
Brody. He was from the OC. I think he's kind of like old news these days.
so you could get him.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's married. He's happily married, and so is John Krasinski. But we're gonna pretend that they're not. And the third one, I kind of lost it. I was thinking of like some like cute character actor guy, and I lost his name. But yeah, because I like funny guys. So
That's good. Funny guys are good. Do you have your 3?
Well, I didn't know that like we were supposed to also give our 3, but I know 2 right off the bat.
You know.
I know at least 2. I think just old school. This is gonna be forever. Probably is Jennifer Lopez.
Oh,
so
that's great.
she's been on my list since Selena, since you mentioned it. No, and
Well,
then
you go to a screening.
Yeah,
Right,
it's this weekend.
I've seen
Find
the
it.
movie plenty of times. And then somebody who's a little bit lesser known, but Nicole Bahari.
What's she from?
She was on the show Sleepy Hollow for a while. She was like
Oh, yeah.
the lead. Yeah, there's just a thing.
There's a thing.
She's on the list.
I know. You know who my things are.
Right, I do.
Oh wait, I don't know. Or you've told the
There's
listeners
just a
too many
thing.
times.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I don't
Really?
know.
They just
know.
made so much fun of him at the Bruce Willis roast.
I don't
He's
even
cute.
care. They can make fun of him, but he's
Yeah, he's a
always
cutie.
golden to me. I know he's Jennifer Aniston's Castaway.
Justin Theroux.
But Justin Theroux has been on my list forever.
He really has.
Like literally
That's one I've heard about.
Before Jay Aniston.
way
oh.
before.
Oh,
Are
then you
kidding
deserve
me?
them.
Like Mulholland Drive, like 12. I mean, basically, like when I started dating my husband, I was basically like, "There's somebody you need to tell you about. His name is Justin Theroux. If I ever meet him one day, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but it's just."
Oh wait, I'm
anyways.
sorry. I knew my last one. It was Joshua Jackson, Pacey from
She
Dawson's
called him
Creek.
Pacey.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing that she
Yeah.
called him Pacey.
Yeah.
We're never gonna fight over guys.
He was
Don't
the
even
best
worry.
boyfriend ever on TV. He had a transformation. He really stepped up for the woman.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
she's looking at all these
I look
good
at-
qualities.
He had
And
a
same
journey.
same as John Krasinski's character on The Office too. So I look at these qualities.
These
Makes
good
me
guys.
fall for
See,
you.
good guys. There's
Yeah.
a chance for
There's a
you.
chance.
Yeah.
Do you want to throw any in the ring?
Oh, Aubrey Plaza is probably my biggest
Oh.
celebrity crush.
She's
I
funny.
see her
too.
for you.
Yeah, yeah,
I would
yeah,
match
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I love
The
that.
matchmaker said it.
I would match you.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question. What's something your parents don't know about you? I can't answer this because my parents, I think, might be listening. My
Yeah,
dad's
mine will
favorite.
too.
Are you
Oh
gonna?
man,
You're gonna skip it.
Well, mine know too much. They like.
I tell mine a lot.
Oh,
all the
forget
time.
it.
I
Yeah.
know.
Okay, what would your last meal be then? What would your last meal
Oh,
be?
chicken parmesan. From
Really?
yes, it's like my favorite of all time. It's just sauce and cheese and chicken, and then like chocolate cake or pie of some sort.
Oh, she added
Yeah.
dessert.
Right.
Yeah, add
You
dessert.
said you love to eat.
She's got like
Yeah.
courses. I actually, I would probably do like the Pad See You from Leela Thai, which is like my favorite Thai food restaurant. It's
I used
very
to-
specific.
Yeah, I used to eat that Pad See Ew all the time. Not
So-
from Leela Thai, but Pad See Ew, what used to be my thing. And then I gave up noodles for life.
I cannot give up noodles.
Noodles are good.
Noodles and I have an ongoing relationship. It's the longest relationship that I've ever had.
Yeah,
is
there you
me with
go.
Noodles, outside of my hair.
I'm deep dish Chicago style pizza. Like that I
That is
can
good.
never eat it again in life, but if I know it's the end, I'm going to get myself a pie. All right. Well, I want to get you guys the help that you need. We had so many questions. They've been building up over the time that we've been on hiatus. So let's roll on into the questions from our listeners that come to us from the Textbird app in the next segment.
Technically dating.
Okay. This lady is 28. She's from London. Should I do an accent?
I think you should.
London.
Hold on one second.
Town.
I love London.
If you do it, I'm going to slip into it and I won't be able to get out of it, though.
This is going to be terrible. And my theater
You're great
teachers
at
from college
accents.
they're going to disown me. I have a friend with benefit situation. we've agreed that we don't want. I can't do it, you guys.
Oh.
We've
Right,
agreed-
I was
Strong
like,
start.
that's like Michigan came out real
Benefit
quick.
situation.
situation. It's the melodic tone of the. Yeah. Okay. So she says, I have a friends with benefits situation. We've agreed that we don't want more because in the past we've both been in love with other people, but lately it's started to feel different. I went through a bad breakup a few months ago and he really helped me through it. Do I have feelings for him or am I just missing being in a relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Friends with benefits situation. They're just so tricky.
They're so tricky.
They probably mess up your business all the time, Jessica. Fass.
Exactly. They do. Because you can't fully invest in the person that you really want if you still have this friends with benefits, because no matter what, you usually catch feelings. One side does, or usually both, because you're trusting them like a friend and you're building this friendship and you're getting more and more emotionally bonded with them,
like a
and
partner.
Exactly. And you're
sort
sleeping
of.
with them, so it's
kind
basically a
of
relationship.
everything. But like, what is that thing that makes a person be like, oh, but not you, boo? Like, I can tell you everything. We can sleep together, but I can't like date you.
I know. I've had it too.
You've had it
in my
personally,
own,
or
yeah,
with
yeah,
clients?
in my own life too.
Oh.
So it's
yeah, we
there's
learning
the
stuff today.
there's the
Maybe
thing that
your
parents
parents
don't
don't
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My mom knows everything though. Jewish, mom's daughter's bond. So it's the thing that makes it not. Because the values are different. I've been reading the book I Only Want to Get Married Once by Hannah Leviton, a marriage psychologist. It's fabulous. And if the values deep down are different and not enough, you don't really need a lot of common interests, but like a couple help. Then it's, you might feel comfortable sharing a lot with this person, but it's not going to maintain a long-term relationship if the values are not aligned and goals. So that's kind of what it is. I'm trying to think of an example. Like if your goal is to be a business owner and the guy's goal is, I don't know, like your goal is to be in one place, and then the guy's goal is, I want to travel the world, okay? But you just want to be in one place and raise kids. How is that going to
That's
work?
not a
like long term,
match. Right?
Mhm.
Right.
But
Producer Jake,
there's a bond there.
do you think she should explore this?
Well, I mean, yeah, depending on like you said, like what do they have shared, kind of like goals? Could they possibly see? I don't see a reason for them not to try to explore it based off the information that she just gave us.
Yeah, they should definitely.
Exactly. So if there's something there and there is a connection and there's a bond, like why not? But I do understand how some people, like recently just had a conversation with a friend of mine who I did not know was into like polyamory, and he just kind of dropped that on me, and I was like, oh. Well, that's interesting. Tell me more.
So if he's dating a girl who is not into that, it's not going to work.
Right, it's not going to work. But one of the interesting things that I found about like just his perspective of it was that, everything, he was like, I'm not looking for everything in one person. And I realize that's how I treat my friendships. But you got some people that serve different things.
You should. And I also think I'm not into polyamory. I don't have a problem with it if that's your life choice, but I don't look at my husband as the be all and end all for everything.
For all your needs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm never gonna go watch a soccer game with him,
Right.
and that's fine.
And he has friends to do it with.
Going on a yoga retreat with me.
Fair enough.
It's cool, but we still have, like you said, enough values in common where we can build a life together. But the point I want to make is, she said, "Do I have feelings for him?" Or am I just missing being in a relationship? And I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. I think she could, yes, have feelings for him, and yes, be missing
completely
a relationship. But she's got to go there and try it to see.
Exactly.
I think it's worth trying if they have some common values.
And that's why I was like, my point about bringing up the polyamory situation was, as long as they have the discussion of figuring out like what that means for them. And if they're okay with it, it's like, why not?
Yeah, and what do you have to lose?
Exactly.
It's not like he's your best friend. He's your friend with benefits.
Right.
So, okay. So you
If it
lose
doesn't
an
work out,
F-buddy.
yeah.
So what?
And then you'll make room in your life for the right
For
one if it
another
doesn't work
F-buddy.
out. Yeah. Or another
Okay,
F-buddy.
this is an important question, Jessica Fass.
Okay.
Mayday, Mayday. This is a female. She's 18. She says, today I met a cute guy on the subway. She's not English, so I'm not going to do an accent. She said, we were standing near each other, and after a lot of peeking, it took him 4 subway stops to eventually ask for my Instagram. She's 18.
That's what they do.
crying, laughing emoji. You know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We talked for a few stops, and the whole situation seemed cute to me. He messaged me a few hours later, and he wants to go have a, quote, date, she used quotes, date tomorrow. What should I do? Should I accept it or wait for us to chat more? I'm kind of nervous. Please, you know what I'm going to say, but Jessica, fast, just say it. Just say it.
I just go on the date.
Right?
That's because the more you chat, the more you become like pen pals, and it's just weird. I know the young kids these days, they want to just chat first. I can't tell you how many times I've heard.
You sound, by the way, like a 6-year-old.
I know the young people these days,
and you're younger than me.
I know, but 18 is a world away these days. They date so differently from when I talk to them and what I learn. So the woman would rather just have a chat relationship first, is what I'm told. Even when the guy wants to call her, she's like, first, can I get to know you over text before you call me? How is that? How do you get to know someone over text?
This is a PSA because you can't get to know someone over text, and you already met in person.
Exactly. Right. What are you nervous about?
You already had a banter. Remember, it seemed cute, and you were chatting on the train in person. So why would the date be anything different? I think it's this feeling of, I don't really know this person, and what if they turn out to be weird, or what if I'm wasting my time? But you'll waste so much more time chatting with them than if you just go on the date and you're like, oh, actually, now that I've spent an hour with him instead of 4 subway stops, he's kind of a jerk, or we're not on the same page, or maybe there's an age gap. I don't know. But I'm hearing this more and more, so that's why I really wanted to include this question, because I feel like the PSA needs to go out, that if someone approaches you in real life, that's already the
and you're
first
relatively
step.
attracted. Go out.
One of the things that I've also found out about, people within this age range of like 18 and or whatever,
18 to like 25.
Exactly. Yeah. That their social skills have actually developed more electronically.
Yes, they didn't grow up talking on the phone.
Exactly. So
or they're looking a person in the eyes.
That too.
Exactly. So a lot of times I feel that there's a little bit of reluctance with that real interpersonal, because they're not the most confident in that space. They feel more confident in the space of like, well, I want to chat with you, I want to text with you, or whatever, because they feel more of themselves, because they've done more exploration of themselves in that space.
Through
so
chatting.
Are you telling me that yes, romance robots are the future? Is that where we're headed?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I know it's a bit scary.
I'm terrified.
One day they'll have to hire the robot to type for them, because they won't even know how to type.
Right. It's going to be Wally.
Yeah. You won't need to type. You'll just think it, and then
it'll type for you.
Okay. So this one is also from a young lady. She's 19. She's from New York. I'm not doing a New York accent. She said, my boyfriend and I are having a 2-month break from each other so we can have some space. And when we come to meet again, we will then discuss what we want. I know what I want, and that is to have my life with him. But I'm so scared if he doesn't want me with him. And the scariest part is if I have to let him go. But I don't know what to do in the meantime, but to worry and pray to God. She is in love with this man at the ripe old age of 19.
Oh, wow. Oh, she's only 19.
She's 19. Producer Jay?
I'm too cynical for this discussion.
Well, we need to hear it.
Well, I mean, why are y'all on the break to begin with?
I
like,
know.
That's always a concern for me, of like that you feel like before I know whether or not it's going to be forever, I need to be away from you.
Probably because she's 19. And like maybe they're like going to college, or they're in college and they're like seeing if their lives are going to go in different directions.
Right. And what their values even are, they don't even know yet. They have to figure themselves out.
I just kind of feel like you're.
So what should she do? Should she go sow her wild oats? Should she contact Jessica Fast?
Like,
for
well, she just needs to
matching?
wait. Like, have the conversation.
Yeah.
Wait till the conversation before you start getting all like.
What does
lost
she
in
do?
it.
She's 2 months.
Are they in different states? Did she say,
Didn't
or she didn't
say.
say? If it's 2 months because they're in different states, and then maybe they're going to be in the same place again, I kind of get it. But just, I mean, what are you
But
waiting?
a lot of people do that. Like,
Yeah.
we'll come back and talk about this in 2 months. They
So
put
they have to be like done for now, and like be able to date other people, and then in 2 months see how that 2 months went. Did I really miss you? You can't just like sit there like in your like not going out on Saturday night and in misery, waiting for
or
the 2
you
months.
don't
I
have
feel
to
like he
date
wants
other
out.
people. Maybe he wants
I
out.
think he wants out. Because it
2
doesn't
months?
seem
Yeah.
this doesn't seem like it's up
But
like
maybe
that she's
he'll
a willing
miss her.
participant so much in this. If
Yeah,
this
like
is
she
at the
has to
beginning-
wait. Like he's
right.
making her.
If this
Mhm.
is like the beginning of their 2 months, and she's already like, I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I feel like he's running for the hills because
I
she's a little
agree.
too clingy at 19 years old.
Yeah, I
it's
get
like, mm.
we don't want to scare you, but there's other guys out there. You're 19.
Yeah, and she doesn't have to date. Like she could go and like explore, go travel, explore
Figure
her
out who
life,
she is.
figure
Take
out who she
classes,
is.
yeah,
Yes.
travel.
And then you'd be like, oh, has it been 2 months? I didn't
Right.
even notice.
Exactly. That's how she should think.
Okay, one more quick question, then we have to get to the Hollywood hookup. This is a fun one. Okay, so this lady says, she's 23. She says, this guy that I was dating borrowed $1,000 from me, and then I broke up with him, and he says, I played him just because I don't want to be with him. So he says, I don't deserve my $1,000 back. I think he deserves to be beat up.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Oh, she says, my new boyfriend wants to so badly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I would say so.
It stinks.
That he should be
but-
beaten up?
I mean, $1,000, that's not money to play around with. That's a sizable chunk of change.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why'd she give it to him? You shouldn't. Honestly, why are you giving your significant other?
There's
You're
so many
23?
red flags in this statement,
Yeah.
in this message anyway. Talking about your boyfriend wanting to
Right.
beat people up, and
But
you
don't
trying
go
to
to
figure
jail.
out, like,
Yeah, nobody needs to go to
like
jail
all
over
of
this.
that. Everything about this relationship
I
seems
know.
like it was a little bit problematic.
I
Go to
agree.
small claims court. That's it. Like,
I
get
know.
your
I
But
feel
see,
bad
she
for her, but-
probably didn't put it in writing or anything
sure
that he
she
was
didn't.
going to pay. And this is why you have to, if you're loaning people, even your friends and family money, you got to have some sort of document
I agree.
that that states that your expectation is to get that money back. Because I think you need to just try small claims court.
Yeah,
you might not
I would
win
try it. If you
or
lose
walk
it, then
away.
let it go. If you
Yeah.
lose it, let it go.
But
If you
no
And you learned a
fisticuffs.
but
lesson.
keep your boyfriend away from the fighting.
Yes.
Nobody needs to go and get physical. That's all. I
Yeah.
got to
At least
say.
you have a new boyfriend already.
Right.
So that's cool.
Good for you, girl.
Maybe he has
And he needs
$1,000.
$2,000.
Yeah.
Right?
He wants to borrow 2,000.
No, I was going to say she could borrow $1,000
Oh.
from him, and then the cycle will begin all again. Okay, before we end the show, there is a single celebrity that has been having it pretty rough in Hollywood romance today. So in the Hollywood hookup, we take somebody that really needs love, and we give them some suggestions of who they might want to date. Selena Gomez likes to stay in the news. She is looking for a new man. And now that the Biebs is engaged, I don't know if you
Wow,
heard
I
while we
just
were
saw
on
it.
break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just reported, I feel like, on them
He
getting
was like
back
in the
together.
mix or something.
And then he was like, no, actually, I'm going to date someone else. Actually, I'm just going to get married. Never mind. And also, The Weeknd is back with Bella Hadid, which Selena did not like because he was saying they'd been through so much and he would never be with her again. But, that bond is strong. So here on Dates and Mates, we gotta hook her up. Who wants to go first? Who feels really good?
I'm gonna go first because I feel like Jessica's is gonna be like actually real.
Because she's a matchmaker.
Right,
Like, for
because
real?
mine is just opinion. But I just feel like, Selena Gomez, like, okay, so I went to a private Christian school growing up. She is somebody that I kind of think is like a little bit of a missionary dater, which is a term that we used to use in the private Christian school world.
You know that means something else outside of the Christian school.
Yeah, probably. But what?
Missionary.
No, not that. But
He's like,
basically,
how could you think
how
that?
could you think that? I'm being like, wholesome right now. But where you would like use your dating in order to bring someone over to like, the positive, side.
Oh.
Yeah. And so like she seems to have a little bit of this personality trait where like I think she like I see the good in you. You seem to be really misunderstood because some of her choices. She seems like a pretty even keeled person, but her choices I'm a little bit concerned about. And so I'm like, oh, you look.
She likes to fix them.
She's like a fixer. She wants to fix.
So who do you have who's not
I'm
needing
thinking that
fixing?
she doesn't necessarily need that, but somebody like like an Ansel Elgort or
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver dude.
Oh, that'd be
or
good for her.
or Dylan O'Brien. And I was actually looking up Dylan O'Brien, who was what is it, the Maze Runner guy, and he actually has had a crush on her forever.
Oh, that's good.
And he was on
then,
like
Jimmy.
Teen Wolf, you know, like he was on Teen Wolf as well.
You're doing real matchmatching.
That's actually very good.
got
Oh, thanks.
I got a little shady. The matchmaker gave you the. I got a little shady because she seems to have a thing for Canadians. I don't know what the deal is.
True.
The Weeknd's Canadian, Justin's Canadian.
I don't think she did on purpose necessarily.
I don't know. Maybe there's something about Canadian values that she really likes.
Yeah, they are supposed to be more down to earth.
I think if she really wants to like make a point with The Weeknd and Justin, she should date Drake because he's a friend of Justin's and he was like a supporter of the Jelena match. They're friends, so like they already have a rapport. And The Weeknd would just hate it because, like, he also slept with Bella Hadid. It's just
Drake
crazy.
That's a little shady.
No,
Damona Hoffman.
Yeah.
Drake did.
Yeah, so I went shady with it.
You did.
But and she likes musicians, clearly. So I
Clearly
think it's
she
her
does.
type. He could use a little fixing. I think it's right on the money.
Okay, so my ideas were, so this is a little
And we
funny
have,
backstory.
like, 1 minute,
Okay,
so tell us real quick.
I knew her as a child because I worked with her on a pilot before Wizards of Waverly Place, and her and her mom were so sweet and adorable. And she used to tell me, "Jessica, I can't act," and she was taking acting lessons. And look how far she's come. So I feel like I knew her kind of like a cousin, you know. So I like her with a fellow Disney Channel star that I also worked with. Cole Sprouse. Now he's back there with that Riverdale. And I don't know if he's single right now. I tried to Google and see.
Doesn't matter.
But anyway, someone she grew up with, also in the Disney Channel spotlight. But I know those boys too because I worked on that show, and they have good grounded values. And or Zac Efron maybe, but I think he's dating someone because he also hasn't been in so much trouble, and he's a fellow Disney Channel star.
He understands that mentality.
Yeah. And so I would put her
And
with
he's
one of those
inching
guys.
his way onto my list.
Oh, exactly. I met him when he was 17, and I was like, "This is not legal that I have these feelings for a 17-year-old." Now it's
He's
okay.
legal now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. On that note, we will bring this first episode of season 6 to a close. Jessica Fast, thank you so much for being my co-host today. You can find more advice, and you can also get hooked up. You can get in your database. Fast Pass to Love is your website, and you're on all the social medias.
FastPassToLove.com, not with a T, but I did take it from Disneyland's Fast Pass, but it's Fast Pass. And if you're not Jewish, still put yourself in my database, and I'll refer you to a matchmaker who can help you.
Thank you so much. Producer Jay, blast from the past. So great to have you and your hair here.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome back anytime. And Producer Thomas, as always, on the ones and twos. Thank you for being here. And thank you at home for tuning in. Hey, what's your summer dating dilemma? What guests would you love to see on the show? Which segments are your favorites? I want to hear from you. So you can email me at DemonaHoffman.com or leave me a voicemail at 424-246-6255. And don't forget to subscribe. It's so important. Subscribe to the show so you get every one of the episodes the minute that they're available. I'm on all the social medias at Demona Hoffman. I'll see you next week. And until then, happy dating.